episode 13 of Anime and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Shawn.
And this is the review show that reviews anime from A to Z, sort of.
Last episode, guys, we spun the wheel for Category K. And we got Koi Kaze, Koi Kaze. Not quite sure how to pronounce that.
And Koi Kaze is how I pronounce it.
It's a manga series written by and illustrated by Motoi Yoshida. Premiered in 2001, issue of Evening. Ran for 29 chapters, and it was eventually made into an anime, 13 episodes, which aired, I did not read ahead. It streamed online. It then went to DVD. It didn't go on TV, apparently.
That makes sense. So, before we get into this...
Yeah, I'm happy it didn't go on TV.
Let's talk about the premise before we start rambling.
Yeah, let's just go straight into it, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us what the premise is.
It's about a 27-year-old man that falls in love with his 15-year-old sister.
And that's pretty much it.
It's a love story.
It's a
creepy love story.
It's a creepy love story.
They went balls deep in this.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, we'll get to that too. But before we start railing on it, because there's a lot to rail on it, let's get the positives out of the way.
The only positive I can think of is that, well, I guess two things. One, even though it's disgusting, they kept my attention. And two, they did make a complete story.
Well, that was going to be my first one. It was written pretty well for what it is. That's just on technicalities, like technical thing. It was like a full story, completed from beginning to
objectively.
end.
If you're not concerned with the topic of the entire series,
take the subject matter out of it from a technical standpoint. It was well written. And the other thing I want to say for the subject matter. The characters act realistically in the situation.
Yeah, for the most part.
So if this were to happen...
To a normal person, and not a semi-normal person. I don't think a normal person would actually sleep with his sister.
But, I mean, I could see these characters acting in this way if it was
He did dwell quite a lot on, it's my sister.
There's a particularly powerful scene, actually, in it, where he's confronted by his coworker about that towards...
One person has sense.
Towards the end of it, and I mean...
But not really, because then she's okay with it later on. She's like, oh, I'll just stay out of it. You can figure it out.
Yeah, well, that's true.
No, that's not okay. Call the police.
That's the ending, and I want to get into that. But in that one scene, though, she rails on him about how weird it is, how wrong it is, what about her future, and stuff. Yeah. It was really realistic, really a kind of powerful scene considering everything that was happening. Yeah. And another scene that kind of stuck out to me is... the friend of the sister, it's when she's asking what's wrong with the sister because she's being reserved and stuff. And it got to the end, and the other friend was like, "I think she has a boyfriend," and she was like, "We should go follow her and find out." And the other friend was like, "No, I don't think we should." She's like, "Why? Why? You came and followed me when I was acting this way," and she was like, "I'm afraid to find out what happened." And she just had this look on her face. And there was two...
They had a hint. Yeah. They sort of knew because she had a bit of a brother complex. Yeah. They played that up throughout the show a bit.
Two really good scenes in there that I wanted to really talk about there. So
now, the only objective bad point in the show that I can see is that it should have ended on 12, not 13.
Oh.
The ending of episode 12, they end up having sex. But the 13th episode just felt completely unnecessary.
I have a different opinion on that. I actually kind of respected it a little, the series, for going as far as they were going, because I thought the ending was going to be different. I thought it was going to end in disaster completely.
It's sort of open-ended. Well, it can still end in disaster.
The last episode's just an extended date.
Yeah, but only thing that really happens in the last episode is they go and see their mother, which he hasn't seen in probably years.
Well, he did in the earlier episode.
Yeah, but at the very end of that episode, the last episode, just out of nowhere, suicide comes up.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's almost completely out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, they were like...
I mean, it does make sense that you would think of that, brother and sister getting it on, but... Do you think they'd build up to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean...
And you think maybe he would suggest suicide, not her, because he's the one struggling with this the whole time?
Right.
She almost didn't struggle with this at all.
Oh, yeah, no, that's... I got another thing I want to get into about the writer and stuff about this, but my problem is the end, and after they talk about suicide and stuff, she's walking away and stuff like that, and he just says, "I love you," and she doesn't hear it or anything, and that's the end. I mean... it's very open-ended and you don't know what's going on, but I was expecting him to end up in jail or, something disastrous or something really bad.
Rules are different over there, man.
No, I get the rules are different over there, but they did everything kind of so well up to that point and showing how disastrous this was.
It's more of a society stigma than anything. Especially at that high school age, you're almost considered an adult in high school.
Right.
A lot of people drop out of high school and go straight to a job, and that's normal over there.
I get that, and if it was played up like a crappy anime, like poorly written and stuff like that, I wouldn't even be round against it. But they had a chance to really do something strong with the ending.
Mm-hmm. My cat keeps jumping in my lap. Sorry.
It's strong with the ending, and they did nothing with it. They just leave it.
Yeah. That's why I think it should have ended on episode 12, along with what I've said before. It was kind of unneeded, most of it.
Because they
ending with them just getting it on, and then
because they build up the whole series. I mean, they don't get along in the beginning. The brother is like
purposefully because he's really struggling with his feelings,
and so it's not until like
her instantly falling in love with him is what's really weird.
Well, again, that's I test that to the writer, and I'm going to get into that, but
yeah, like the second there's a scene, I don't know, like episode 7 or something like that, where they're on the train together going to school, and he kind of blocks her from people crowding on her. It was from that scene on, she was instantly in love with him.
Right.
Like that's not how love works.
There were some scenes in here where he was being a real dick that got generally scary with him. Too.
Yeah, quite a bit.
So, I mean, like I said, there were some really interesting moments in this thing, which brings me to the writer of this thing. I kind of got the feeling that this was either like a fantasy of his
it's gotta be.
For a long time.
Gotta be.
But judging by how the people reacted, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually had this experience.
He might have. I looked into a little bit of the reception of it. Most people liked it, which is weird.
Well, yeah.
And just in general, the whole brother-sister fantasy in Japan is extremely common.
Well, the way the reactions were in this were a little too realistic to, like, just throw away for me to just think that, maybe this happened to him.
Yeah, it could have.
So, that's kind of, I actually found his mindset, almost like the Blue Gender effect, where I found what was going on behind the scenes more fascinating than the actual show itself, which...
what kind of mindset do you have to be in to write something like this?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And to give, like I said,
it is softcore porn for pedophiles.
Right, and to give it credit, though, it's well written. So
yeah, I mean, that's, yeah.
So, it's a very...
It did kept my attention, unfortunately. I wish I could have zoned out.
Strangely enough, it's...
The whole time, I'm all, like, biting my blanket or my pillow, like, no, don't do it. Stop sniffing her underwear. Don't do it.
Yeah,
and he did it.
It was bad. In certain aspects of it.
Yeah, it's creepy. Really, I felt dirty watching it.
Me too.
I needed to take a shower after every episode. It's just weird.
And the funny thing is, it's a straight up romance. There's like nothing.
Going on. There's nothing else happening.
And it's just their daily lives, and it holds your interest.
Very slice of life.
It holds your interest surprisingly well, and considering what we knew we were.
If it wasn't about incest,
right. This could be a pretty solid.
Yeah, it would have been a very solid romance, and I'd be giving it probably as for a romance, I'd probably give it a 10 out of 10.
Right.
Out of just general animes, I'm not typically into romances that much, so I'd have to give it a lower score. But because of the subject matter, it's a 0. No, don't watch it. It's gross.
I wouldn't give it a 0.
Oh, it's a 0
because
it should be banned.
No, because I'm not mad I watched it.
I'm mad I watched it.
I'm not mad I watched it because I found it fascinating.
Yeah, I hear you. I respect that opinion, but Jesus Christ, I wish I didn't watch it.
I'm more mad that I had to watch Fantastic Children than I had to watch this.
That was pretty terrible.
So, I mean, I can't give it a worse score than Fantastic Children.
I will.
Yeah.
I can and will. I'll give it a negative.
I'm more objective than you are.
I'll pay you not to watch it.
Yeah. By no means am I recommending this. Let me get that out there. This is bad on so many levels.
Oh my god!
Especially, I mean, let's look at this objectively for a moment here.
Anime is generated towards teens,
right?
For the most part.
No. What I'm saying is even more so. In Japan, would you recommend this?
I wouldn't recommend this anywhere.
Because in the United States, no. Hands down.
I honestly wouldn't recommend it anywhere, especially in Japan, I would say, because that it's a bit of a fetish over there for this kind of thing.
Right.
I don't think you should be encouraging it.
No, I get you there. And like I said, objectively, I'm not recommending anything. I just can't bring myself to give it a lower score than.
No. I do respect that. I get it.
So
I can understand that. I can hold the two thoughts in my head. I get it, but still, no, just don't watch it. Oh, it's so bad. It's just disgusting.
It is very bad. So much. I mean, we didn't even really get into how bad it is.
The underwear sniffing when he's in his underwear and she walks in on him. Oh my god. Yeah,
and then he dwells on it for like 6 episodes, and it's like he feels guilty about it.
And then as soon as he's not that guilty about it, all right, time to kiss her. Let's do it. Yeah, it's a bit of a jump.
And yeah, I mean, even towards the end, not the pervert coworker, the girl coworker, the one I was talking about earlier.
I think she was more his boss than anything, to be honest. That's what it seemed like.
She was the boss. But
there was an episode or two where towards the end, right before he got with his little sister, where she was spending the night and hanging out with him, and she's attractive, as far as
I mean, she was a
drawn
age
people are,
not a relative.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Really.
What are you doing?
So, but it's funny because she was trying to protect him.
Yeah.
Too, because even when the sister shows up at his apartment and she's there and he's not there because he went out grocery shopping, she goes to the sister and says, "Yeah, we're dating and stuff." And
even though they're not, and she's trying to push her sister off a bit.
And his sister, and she's trying to save him,
save her,
and her.
Yeah.
So it was like,
and I respected that character so much until she had that change of heart, and she was like, "Oh, you figure it out. I'll respect what you want to do." Dude, come on.
Well, like I said, you can only go so far with this fantasy, and it's his fetish. So, so you kind of you got almost a happy ending out of this, which was stupid in my opinion.
Yeah, a happy ending for the incestuous siblings.
So it should not have.
And I honestly, you can't blame the child. She's 15. Well, you know what I mean.
And it was written by a guy, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, because the girl was just hopelessly in love from almost day one. So you could tell that because she had no qualms with this whatsoever. I mean, and the school, when they were teasing her about having a brother complex, she was a little apprehensive about it. But other than that, it wasn't really. Yeah,
almost not at all from the point of view of what a female might feel.
Yeah, because I mean, there was so in the beginning, when they find out their brother and sister. Well, not even when they find out brother and sister. The first time they meet and they don't know they're brother and sister.
Yeah, they find out at the end of the episode? End of the second episode? Something like that?
Yeah, because she's moving in with the dad.
Yeah.
And the brother. And because she lived with the mom and she was...
They met on the train?
They met on... they were meeting.
She left... when she left something, he brought it out.
Yes. And she comes to the work.
Yeah.
His work because...
Yeah, but that didn't make any sense.
Oh, yeah.
How does she know where he works?
Yeah, I know.
She just shows up there when he's done his work day and he's leaving. She's just there. Then they could have made a really simple reason for it, like her dad said, "Hey, stop by your brother's office, here's the address." They could have explained that very simply, but they didn't.
No, she just appeared. Huge plot hole. She just appeared out of nowhere in Cherry Blossoms?
Oh, yeah, Cherry Blossoms is a bit of a thing over there. I'm actually surprised they only did it for the first couple episodes.
Well,
I thought that would have been a thing throughout the entire show.
The sister, before they knew they were related, appears with Cherry Blossoms, so I didn't get it. But
it's just the whole Cherry Blossom thing is a bit of a symbol over there.
But, so, he gets tickets to the fair or something, and she was like, "Oh, you want to go with me to the stranger girl that he didn't even know?" I mean, at this time she's 15. I mean, it's still weird, but
yeah, it's a little odd.
I was like
stranger danger. Kids.
I was like Japan, so I kind of threw that off.
Yeah,
right in the beginning.
Super weird.
But they cut from say you want to go to children in a playground right immediately afterwards, and it was just the symbolism there was very, very weird. And why would you do that? Weird. And then there was a whole episode where he's really struggling with it, and he's just thinks about him having him and his sister as a kid.
The 10-second scene of him masturbating to her, and then, oh, what's wrong with me thinking of my little sister while masturbating?
I'm not
and throwing used tissues. They show it, throwing used tissues into his waistband.
Yeah.
God, it's so weird.
And it's not even, that was not even the scene I'm talking about. I'm talking about when he's really, like, trying to figure things out, and he's walking home, and there's the whole flashback where she's like a little toddler.
Yes, yeah. Oh, weird.
And he's smiling and stuff like that, and it was just like, this is, the context here does not fit correctly, because you're thinking about a relationship, and now you're thinking of her when she's like 2.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's just weird, man.
I mean, if this was just a brother-sister relationship, that might have been touching, but no.
Oh, no.
No. It got really, really strange.
Really creepy the whole time.
Uh-huh.
I did not watch this with anyone else in the house. That's for damn sure.
Oh, no.
It was empty when I watched this.
Yeah, no. People will see you watch this, they'll be like, what the hell are you watching? They will look at you weird. Yeah, this was really, really, really bad.
Happy to say it's done and over with.
Yeah.
Give it a -4. Never watch it. Stay away. It's gross. It's weird.
I have to give it a 2.
Yeah, it's fine. I respect that.
I mean, yeah, it's bad, but it's not the worst thing I've seen. I refer to you the Fantastic Children and 801 TTS Airbats. So
they are pretty terrible.
And I mean, as creepy as this was, this didn't infuriate me like those did.
No, I think this infuriated me pretty bad. I'm a father. Oh, man, that's just nasty. That's just gross.
We didn't get into that. What would their parents say to that?
Oh, they'd probably be stigmatized and shunned. You know what I mean? I can't imagine it being any other way.
No. Yeah, well, you don't think because the parents were portrayed as, like, normal parents.
For the most part, yeah. I
mean, they were divorced, but which I found odd in Japan, because isn't that stigma?
Yeah, but, coming around.
I actually read that they didn't air the episode that dealt with them on being divorced because...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because of the stigmatism in Japan. So,
that makes sense. I mean, I'm sure people still do it. It just can't be as common.
I just thought the whole marriage thing was a big deal.
That's touchy. Not screwing your little sister. Divorce is touchy. Well, what the fuck?
Well, they're big on tradition, right?
Traditionally rape your little sister.
I mean... Go back
statutory rape. I'm sorry.
You go all the way back to the Romans, and that people were sleeping with kids all the time.
I get it. We're not.
They're
1800 BC.
They're culturally behind.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not excusing it by no means, but I just saying, watching all this anime, I'm seeing trends.
Yeah, this is a big trend for sure, and it's weird.
And if I obsess,
it's fine if it's a joke or two in a regular anime, but when you make an anime just about
there was a joke character, the other coworker, that was just a pervert who liked 15-year-old girls or high school kids or whatever.
Yeah, constantly trying to get with them.
Yeah, and he was like, "You have a younger sister, you have to introduce me."
Oh,
it was So I mean. The creep factor was all over the place with this one.
But with him, it was a joke. Even with the female manager, coworker type girl.
Yeah, she was like...
It was just a joke like, oh, haha, don't worry about it.
She was like, even with him, he's not... She was defending the brother. He's not interested in his sister. She's not you. He's not you. She was always saying to him. Oh, man.
All right, let's just move on. Spin the wheel for next episode.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about this anymore.
It's fine.
Category L.
It's letter.
We just get past Log Horizon. What's Little Busters? I have no idea what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
The next episode.
It sounds like a kid's show, though.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. There wasn't a whole lot for L. Most of it seemed like love stories, to be honest.
I could do it for the kids' show after.
After that? I don't know if I don't want to think about children for a while.
I'm just saying the regular innocence of it.
Yeah, that might be nice.
So.
All right.
All right, guys. Talk to you
next
later.
Next episode.